What would you do if the person you loved, the person you trusted most, laughed in your face after betraying you? Not only laughed, but called you a doormat, a joke, an option. When I caught my girlfriend cheating on me with her boss at work, she thought I'd roll over. Instead, I turned her entire world upside down. If you've ever been disrespected, betrayed, or underestimated, this story is for you. Hit that like button, subscribe, and buckle up, because this is one of the most emotionally satisfying revenge stories you'll hear today. When you're in love, it's like the whole world has been painted in warmer colors. Even the dullest, grayest days feel a little brighter. And that was me. I was completely wrapped up in the glow of being with her. She wasn't just pretty. She had this way of pulling people in, of making them feel like they were the only person in the room. The kind of laugh that echoed in your chest, the kind of smile that made strangers turn their heads. To me, she was electric, this rare, once-in-a-lifetime spark. From the beginning, I thought, this is it. This is the girl I'd been waiting for. I didn't want to admit it to anyone, but deep down, I was already planning a future with her. The way she talked about life, about wanting a family someday, about hating cheaters because of what her father had done to her mother, it all made me believe we were aligned, that we were building toward the same dream. We had our ups and downs, arguments about dumb things like where to eat, or who left the dishes in the sink, but it always felt normal, manageable, like just another part of being a couple. Every relationship has fights, right? The important thing was that we always made up. At least, that's what I told myself. And I invested myself fully. Not halfway. Not casually. All in. When her mom needed help moving into a new home, I was there without question. I carried heavy boxes until sweat dripped down my back and my hands were raw. I fixed loose shelves, patched holes in the walls, even hauled out old junk that no one else wanted to touch. The whole time, I thought, this is what family does for each other. I wasn't just helping her mom, I was helping our family. Because that's how much I believed in us. I wanted to prove that I wasn't just her boyfriend. I wanted to be the man her family could count on. I remember her mom thanking me, smiling, saying, "You're such a good guy. She's lucky to have you." And in that moment, I felt proud. I felt secure. I thought I was exactly where I was meant to be. But here's the thing about tinted glasses, you don't see the cracks forming underneath. Looking back now, I realize there were small signs. Little things that didn't add up. Times when she seemed distracted, staring at her phone with a half-smile she didn't bother explaining. Moments where she pulled away just slightly when I went to hug her, or where her laugh seemed forced. At the time, I brushed it all off. I told myself not to overthink. I convinced myself it was stress from work, or maybe just her needing space. Because when you're in love, you don't want to believe the person you trust most could ever betray you. So I ignored the unease. I drowned it out with hope, with effort, with love. I doubled down, gave her even more of myself, trying to prove, maybe to her, maybe to myself, that we were solid, unshakable. I thought we were building something real. Something lasting. Something worth fighting for. But what I didn't know, what I couldn't even begin to imagine, was that while I was pouring everything I had into us, she was already laughing behind my back. It started small. That quiet, nagging feeling you get in your stomach when something just doesn't sit right. Her phone seemed busier than usual. Little buzzes and pings at odd hours. She'd glance at the screen, smile faintly, like the kind of smile you give when someone flatters you, and then quickly set the phone face down. Always face down. At first, I didn't think much of it. I told myself, don't be paranoid. She's allowed to have friends. Don't be that guy who freaks out over nothing. But it wasn't just the phone. Our conversations started to change too. They got shorter, clipped. I'd ask how her day went, and instead of the long rants she used to give me about rude customers at the restaurant or her crazy coworkers, I'd get a quick, "Fine." She was busy more often than usual. Work shifts seemed to run longer. Nights out with friends started happening more often, and she'd brush off my questions with vague answers. That sinking pit in my stomach grew heavier every day. And no matter how much I tried to push it aside, it whispered to me at night, "Something's wrong." I fought it. I told myself I was overthinking. I reminded myself of all the good moments we had, all the reasons I trusted her. I didn't want to become the kind of boyfriend who snoops. But love has a cruel way of blinding you, while your instincts scream the truth. And then one night, opportunity presented itself. She was in the shower, steam fogging up the bathroom mirror, the sound of running water drowning out the world. Her phone was on the nightstand, buzzing. Once. Twice. I sat on the bed, staring at it. My pulse was racing. My palms were sweaty. My mind was at war. Don't look. If you look, you'll find something you can't unsee. But another voice, colder, sharper, whispered, or maybe you'll find proof. Maybe you'll finally know. Before I knew it, my hand moved on its own. I picked up the phone. My fingers felt heavy, trembling, like I was about to cross a line I couldn't uncross. I opened her messages. At first, it looked normal. Chats with friends, family. Harmless. And then, I saw his name. A manager from her restaurant. Someone she had mentioned casually before, dismissing him as just funny and good to joke around with. My chest tightened immediately. Still, I told myself, maybe it's innocent. Maybe they're just friends. But the moment I opened that thread, the ground fell out from under me. It wasn't innocent. Not even close. There they were, dozens of messages. Flirty banter. Sexual innuendos. Compliments that dripped with meaning. Messages that no man should ever have to see directed at his girlfriend by another man. And it didn't stop there. It escalated. Dirty talk. Explicit comments. Her saying things I had never even heard her say to me. Pictures. Him sending her a shirtless bathroom mirror shot, flexing. Her replying with selfies that I had never seen before. Different poses, different angles, meant just for him. And then the words that made my stomach twist. Can't wait to hang out after work. I froze. My whole body went numb. My throat tightened like it was closing in on itself. I couldn't breathe. It felt like someone had just taken a knife and driven it straight into my chest, twisting it slowly. The room around me seemed to blur. Eventually, she reached out again. At first, it was another wall of texts. Long paragraphs filled with half apologies and twisted logic, trying to flip the script, trying to make me the villain. I didn't bite. But when I finally responded, it all exploded into an ugly fight. What started as messages quickly turned into a screaming match over the phone. Her voice was sharp, venomous. She hurled every insult she could think of, clawing for control. You're pathetic. You're obsessive. No one will ever want you after this. I didn't stay silent. I threw it right back. Words I had bottled up for months came out like fire. All the frustration, the humiliation, the nights I sat wondering what I'd done wrong, I unleashed it on her. And for once, she couldn't hide behind lies. The more I spoke, the quieter she got. Finally, I told her flat out. You never wanted me. You never loved me. You never deserved me. And now you're living with the consequences of your choices. There was silence on the other end. For the first time, she didn't have a comeback. She had spent weeks laughing at me, mocking me, making me feel small. She wanted me powerless. But in that moment, she knew the truth, she had lost control of everything. I didn't need to shout anymore. I didn't need to keep fighting. I had already won. And with that, I hung up. But here's where the universe decided to step in and deliver its own form of justice. Weeks later, I started hearing things, little pieces of gossip that painted the full picture. Turns out, the guy she had risked everything for wasn't exactly Prince Charming. Far from it. He was a single father, juggling custody of a young son, and he carried with him a long history of infidelity. in fact, his last relationship? It ended the exact same way mine did. He was caught cheating with another woman, at the very same restaurant where my ex worked. And here's the kicker, my ex knew his ex. She knew her pain. She had even mocked her behind her back, saying she couldn't believe a woman would ever stay with a cheater. She used to say she hated cheaters. She used to say she'd never end up like her mom, a single mother struggling to keep it together. She used to act like she was above all of it. And yet, she became exactly what she claimed to despise. The other woman. The liar. The hypocrite. But karma wasn't done. The guy she threw everything away for? The one she laughed with, the one she mocked me for catching her with? He moved on, fast. Just like she did to me, he did to her. No loyalty. No commitment. No second chances. And there she was, left standing in the wreckage of her own choices, with nothing to show for it. Her perfect little fling wasn't a fairy tale. It was just another lie, another cycle of betrayal. In the end, the universe gave her exactly what she deserved. Poetic justice. Do I regret what I did? Sometimes. A part of me wonders if I went too far, if exposing her the way I did was fueled more by anger than justice. Maybe I lost myself for a moment, letting spite take the wheel. But another part of me feels an undeniable sense of closure. Because I didn't just sit back and let her destroy me in silence. I didn't let her mock my loyalty, drag my name through the mud, and walk away laughing. I made sure there were consequences. And in the end, that's exactly what happened. She lost everything. Her reputation? Shattered. Her little fling? Gone. The respect of her family? Eroded. The comfort of hiding behind lies? Gone forever. And me? I walked away. Not unscarred, not untouched, but stronger. I carried the bruises, yes, but also the lesson that love without respect is just a slow form of self-destruction. That trust given to the wrong person is nothing more than fuel for betrayal. It took pain, humiliation, and anger to learn it, but I learned it. I don't hate her anymore. I don't even think about her much. Because the truth is, her story ended in wreckage. Mine didn't. She's stuck in her cycle. I broke free. And that's what survival really looks like. The best part? It wasn't the screenshots. It wasn't sending them to her boss, her friends, her mom. The real revenge was psychological. Because now, every single time she walks into that restaurant, she feels it, the eyes on her. The whispers. The smirks. She'll never know exactly who saw what, or who's laughing behind her back. And that uncertainty? That eats at her more than anything I could have said. She wanted me to be the joke. She wanted me to look weak, pathetic, like a fool. But in the end, she became the punchline. And that's the kind of revenge you can't erase. It doesn't fade. It lingers. It follows her everywhere. Her reputation, scarred. Her confidence, shaken. Her lies, exposed. And me? I don't even have to say a word. Because every time she looks over her shoulder, every time she feels the weight of those eyes, she'll remember what she did, and how it all came crashing down. That's power. That's closure. That's revenge. Here's the truth, revenge doesn't fix betrayal. But it does remind people that their actions have consequences. She wanted me to feel powerless. Instead, I made sure she'll never forget what she did. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button, and tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? Don't forget to subscribe for more insane true stories where karma comes knocking.